Johnson.
Judge, you are not a fair judge. You are not. You talk about the evidence. You don't even know what the evidence really was.
What? We need it now! Kill him! Kill him! It's not his fault!
All right, please be seated, everyone.
Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and you guys seem to love our top 10 female convicts who freaked out after life sentencing, so I'm gonna talk about a few more for you. Get ready, as things are once again pretty heavy. Before we get into this video, I just want to say, please stick around till the end because I'm gonna be reading out some of your comments from part 1. Also, please do share your thoughts on this second helping. Which freak out do you think is the craziest? Of course, it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Please do like this video and share it with a friend. Alright, first up we have Regina Johnson. Regina Johnson was sentenced to 80 years to life for the murder of her daughter and husband. Johnson was convicted of the double killing which took place in May 2012. Now, Johnson was said to have stayed with the bodies of the pair for 3 days at their home in San Carlos. It seems that Johnson had snapped. She'd used lipstick on a mirror to write, "This is all your fault." The 60-year-old woman admitted to shooting her husband in self-defense after he killed their daughter, but this didn't fly with the jury. After she was sentenced for life, this was her outburst.
How can you say that? They never proved
Mrs.
anything.
Johnson.
Nobody ever said, they never even had a motive. Why?
Mrs.
Why? How can you
Johnson.
sit there and say that I killed my daughter?
She then also had an absolute breakdown asking how the judge could say these things about her. She ended her emotional outburst by saying this.
Standing up when I shot him. I shot him because he shot my daughter. This shit not fair. What kind of judge is that?
Then,
I have no respect for you as a judge.
she was then removed from the courtroom. So this one is more of a breakdown than a freakout, but it's very intense nonetheless. Next up we have Tatiana Fusari. 27-year-old Tatiana Fusari and her partner Seth Welch were charged with murder and first-degree child abuse when their daughter died of malnutrition and dehydration. The pair said that they did not seek medical help when they noticed that their daughter looked ill because of, I quote, religious reasons. Miss Fusari and Mr. Welch heard their charge together, and I know this video is female convicts freaking out, but honestly the combination of both of them is pretty priceless. As they hear that they're being charged for murder, this is their reaction.
To a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.
This is basically how they reacted when they found out they could be spending their life in jail. Next up we have Sheila McFarland. Sheila McFarland was convicted of being involved in the murder of drugs informant Robert Williams, who was killed by a hired assassin for communicating with police in a drugs investigation. The pair behind his killing were found to be Eddie Brown Lee and Miss McFarland herself. So the judge, Daniel Gall, convicted McFarland of involvement in the murder and sentenced her to life in jail. She blurted out that she thought that he was racist, and then she had this to say.
No, because you have always been disrespectful to me, and you don't like black people, and you definitely don't like me.
Judge Gall accused her of playing the race card. He said, when you try and flip the script, when you play the race card in a disgusting fashion, but most importantly, when you manipulate the system of justice by murdering a witness in a criminal trial, you will pay the harshest possible penalty. This was their final exchange.
We're not going to talk to you about post-release control.
I already know you ain't gonna release me, and I ain't up to you no more. I'm glad that I don't have to even see you. I ain't got to see you in the drug case.
Well,
It's over.
You're going to be back in here with that drug case.
This next one makes me feel really sad. A lot of courtroom freakouts are moments of indignation, but some are from utterly broken people who know they did a terrible, terrible thing and they can't take it back. That is the theme going on here with Jodie Herring up next. So Jodie Herring was sentenced for killing a social worker who took away custody of her daughter. Lara Sobel was killed as she was leaving work, and Herring then went on to kill 3 of her own relatives. She shot them. The deaths were totally tragic and motivated by revenge. However, Herring pleaded that she was suffering from mental health issues. She accepted responsibility for the murders, and on the day of sentencing, she made this sad outburst.
And I'm very sorry. I can't take back that day. I wish I could, but I can't. I handle my stress so differently than anybody else does, and I wish I could help myself. I really could. I asked for help several times, and I didn't get it.
Honestly, how horrible for her family, her children, and the family of Lara Sobel. Lara's sister said, she took a life, my sister's life. She took 3 other lives, and she doesn't deserve to have 1 day of liberty. Herring did indeed get life without parole. Finally, now this may seem like a tenuous link, but honestly it works. It is so dramatic. We have the woman who freaked out at the James Holmes sentencing. This is Deborah Cave's crazy reaction taking the first place spot here. So James Holmes, as you may know, killed 12 people at a movie theater in Aurora as they watched Batman in 2012. It was horrible, it was disgusting, it was a massacre. He was being sentenced for 12 counts of life. Attorney George Brauchler was pushing for the death penalty. Cave shouted out in defense of the killer. It was a really weird and dramatic outburst. She proclaimed that actually James Holmes was her son. Oh, dramatic. Have a listen to the first part.
Mental illness is everything. I'm the biological mother. She's the surrogate. They took him away from me, and they adopted because they know they had mental illness. My family's full of FBI.
So yeah, she's saying his parents took him away from her. As she was then removed from the courtroom, she screams this.
No! Kill him! Kill him! Inside his phone!
Honestly, such high drama. You can then hear her screams down the hall for a very long time. She herself became a convict as she was sentenced to 3 weeks in jail for contempt of court. Seriously, what a freak out and what an outburst. So guys, there you go. What a list of freakouts. It was very intense. What did you think to this? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and also let me know if you've seen part 1. Before I go, I'm just going to read some quick comments from our first part. Claudia Ivy said, crying and wailing for themselves but had no mercy for other people's lives. Yeah, I get it. Zara Marlin said, you do the crime, you do the time. Again, fair. Acadian French said, too much talking. Even if you are a pretty lady, it doesn't justify your accent. We sentence you to 25 years of prison without parole. Ha! You got me. Honestly, I know, I understand. I'd love to be able to play you the whole clips, but we can only show 10 to 15 seconds at a time without being struck for copyright, so I have to talk. It's just the way the YouTube is these days, so blame them. Can we sentence them for Article 13? I don't know, maybe a bit dramatic, but still. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the extension to our part 1. Do let me know what you thought in the comment section down below, and once again, do leave a thumbs up and share this video. I'm your host, Rebecca Felgate, and I'll see you next time.